All right, here we go again. We're actually doing the jot. Silva and Aegis Prime, which has been requested by Flutter. We are doing Steel Path Mot, and honestly, a little worried about it. I think that we're gonna have a hard time, just like honestly, just keeping up with the kills necessary to keep Mot going. Yeah, just air support I think is gonna be an issue. But yeah. I think that this is pretty good. Gladiator Might should give us a bunch of the damage that I'm used to, or at least most of it, because I'm normally using this fucking thing. Don't buy ribbons. But yeah, this build should be pretty good. There is some consideration in terms of adding more attack speed and instead running Gladiator Vice, because you do want that extra 10% for the combo multiplier. Running that over here is pretty good, but I think I'm going to want the critical damage a little more. But both are quite good, and if you don't have either, then Quickening is just also a bunch more attack speed as well. Oh, actually, you know, this for the combo count chance might be good. Yeah, it's tough. Like, between Gladiator Might, Quickening, and Gladiator Vice, they're all quite nice. What about Sacrificial Steel? Yeah, Sacrificial Steel also a consideration. There's, like, I mean, I think does it fit like this? Yeah, it fits like this, so, like, yeah, that's also actually in the running as well. As a consideration, if you just wanted to start with a bunch of crit, you can start at 80%, but you have like much less critical multiplier to start with. It's up in the air. You definitely have to run Prime Fury though if you go here though, because then you run like, well, it kind of depends. You go a few different ways with it. No condition overload since it's only 2 stats. Yeah, it's only heat and viral, so we're not going to be getting other stuff on here. But yeah. Oh yeah. Also, yeah. Don't forget. I have a companion this time. I know that's crazy. Also talking to you with 100 bits.
Now get out there.
All right, we'll run with Sacrificial Steel. It's not going to matter too much what that mod is. Sac Steel might make our consistency a little better though. Void. Mot, we're on Steel Path. Let's do this mission. Go solo. Not that it's going to matter. Adrenaline, Sac Steel, and Quickening for my attack speed. That's fair. Quickening's like reasonable. I do think that like losing 15% attack speed, especially on this weapon, which can run a little slow, is probably not worth it versus the combo count chance.
Are worthy foes.
Also, once again, very similar to the previous jot, we are running Revenant and running Roar, more importantly. Just in case this weapon has trouble, we can boost it up with a nice, reasonable damage buff. By reasonable, I mean very good. Regular enemies go burr. Yeah, so like the big issue here is like running through enemies and just like, this is all just, it's not having any trouble with any of these enemies, right? There's no real issues here at all. The trouble is just that I'm like killing them slow and it's a survival. Like on an Exterminate, like there would be nothing wrong with using this at all. And honestly, in a group of 4 people, it probably wouldn't really be a big deal. But like relying on a group, or like, you know, if I was Saren, for example, she would be able to use this to great effect. It's just a bit trying to show off the weapon and not like the abilities of a frame that would go with it is the whole thing. Trouble is that it's a melee that's not the glaive. Yeah, it's range just is, you know, we're using primed reach, but the range is what it is, and like realistically you just kind of need more range to keep up with like the kills that you want to be doing, because like this weapon is doesn't have trouble with enemies really. It has trouble killing gigantic rooms full of enemies with the speed that Warframe wants from you. Yeah, it has 4 meters of range instead of 15. Yeah, exactly. It'll be really interesting if we ever see a Warframe that like gives melee weapons a bunch of range based on your like the strength of the frame. Like that as a buff would be like insanely interesting. Oh shit, I did that thing. I keep doing this thing where I am like looking at chat and not paying any attention at all. It only happens on Joss whenever I'm talking. Although I guess it also happens specifically on melee because I'm just mashing the ever-loving shit out of E. Then old Wukong has scaling range on his 4. Yeah, but I mean like giving... Also current Wukong has scaling range on his 4. And also what I mean is like giving regular melee weapons range. I need to go buy a new E keycap. Yeah, I should have set up a macro for spamming the shit out of E before this mission. My hand is gonna feel it after this. This 10 minutes of just hitting E. This is also honestly because there are other options. Having to hit E this much on missions like this is also why I feel like it's kind of, you know, less. It goes into that thing I talked about with like just E's. It's like, well, would you rather hit E a million times or would you rather be Saren? And it's like, well, the answer is pretty obvious. Whack, whack, whack. Or you have so much HP. Alright, Vor's dead now. Yeah, with any damage buff though, like this one, the kill rate gets considerably better. As you can see, the enemy is like instantly dying now, basically. Probably should have shown that off on Vor, so you can see how much quicker. The fucking thing again. Oh man. I wish that number was not at the bottom right of my screen. I wish I could move the UI on that unironically. Having the UI be down at the bottom right where I don't look. Yeah, air is not great. You pop this real quick.
Life support has been
You there.
replenished.
Yeah, has no real problem killing this guy. Goodbye. That was without roar. It has no problems killing stuff. It's just that if you're using it to kill everything, it just the range just isn't there. And this is one of like the better melee weapons in the game too, which really goes to show like just how far above the really insanely good melee weapons are from everything else. It's super nice if we could move timers to more visible places. Yeah, if I could have the timers just like at the top middle of the screen, God, that would be so much better. Just give me the FF14 UI. It's easy, right? I'm sure it's super easy to implement that. Just to have FF14 UI. Yeah, just having like the timers be more visible, that would be great.
Extraction. I've delivered another life support capsule.
Pop this. Probably gonna have to go pop even more. Being able to read the buffs and not have to memorize 100 different symbols. Yeah.
Activated.
Well, the problem with the symbols really is that like they're actually not very unique. Like the symbols just like aren't their own thing. Especially because they're all the same color, so it's like really hard to differentiate which one's which. Besides between a positive and a negative. Because like, I have my positives green and my like debuffs are red. But like that's as much as I get in terms of like information. Like I know which one is my thing that stacks to 250. Because I can see that actively going up, and also it's the one that goes times 250 when it's done. But like by and large, the icons I think are not unique enough in the bar to be like super readable. Which is partially like a stylistic thing to Warframe, is that like kind of minimal UI design a little bit is hitting them on that. Yeah, the downside of the nice minimal UI they want. Yep. The charm effects all having the same icon. Yep.
Another life support capsule is now available.
Now I'm actually paying attention now to my my armor. Here, once upon a time, Roar was the only buff in the game. Well, sure, but I mean, we've had what 3 UI designs between then and now. That's not really much of a thing here. Nice UI, but Warframe has gotten complicated enough that it would be nice to have more informative UI instead of minimal. Yeah, and it's only about like certain things, right? It's just about like the weird thing is it's like about the stuff that we think is important, and everybody's gonna think different things are important. Like for me, I want to know how many charges I have left on my Revenant too. But counter to that, I don't really need to know how much time is left on Roar, because like if I miss timing on Roar, it doesn't like make me live or die. It's just a little bit more damage, right?
Extraction is your best option.
But whenever it's your survivability, for me, that like really matters. Also, I have such low air, but we are getting there. Probably don't need Martyr Symbiosis. Yeah.
Life support has been replenished. Life support activated.
Which acolyte is it? Oh, it's Torment. Goodbye, Torment. Ah, yes, Hydroid's ability. The best ability for you to have. Timers as rings around the crosshairs might be nice. Yeah. But I think, like, honestly, like, just having it be... I think things at the top center of the screen being, like, the important things, and you getting to choose what those important things are. Like, if you had, like, 3 slots at the top of the screen, and, like, you could choose what appears there, like, what will appear there if it's active, that would be pretty good.
Hold out as long as you can.
Alright, I had to pop a ton of life support, but we did it. I had to pop an absolute ton of life support. Yeah, Silva and Aegis Prime, it's a good melee weapon, but it's not one that I would suggest you mainstay as like your thing to kill all enemies with. It just literally does not have the range for it, which is absolutely needed in Warframe, turns out. All right, it's the start of a new year, and thank you very much to all of my current patrons for supporting me, especially now that the tier list is out, and I went through some troubles getting it done. But thank you very much to Brutus Salazar, Dylan Dworsky, Ethrain, Jacob Bean, James Hearththorne, JC4 Science, Jefferson Clark, Joshua Adams, Lou Zant, Malik X. Williams, Petrozanka, Mitchta, Nicholas Gridley, Paradise, Shan Harding, and Zach Zahner for being my super patrons. And thank you very, very much to all of my $5 and $2 patrons as well. It is hugely appreciated in support for the channel and, of course, for the site, which is going to be receiving many more updates now that the major tier list is done. There's a lot more work to be, added and done to the site. Thanks so much for your support, everybody. Much appreciated. And I hope you enjoyed this year's tier list.